than Google.
The danger to education of having only one point of view on information is that everyone will start to have just that point of view. It'll be self-reinforcing. And that's not how one develops critical thinking. One develops critical thinking by contrasting, by comparing. And it's not just in individual works, but how are things presented. So if we were to have our school kids only use one encyclopedia and not have any access to any other encyclopedias or any other books in the library, wouldn't that be tragic? I mean, we wouldn't do that. Of course we wouldn't do that. We would want to have different points of view, and you compare and you contrast. You go and open it up and go and say, okay, what did this one say? No, what did this one say? No, they're kind of different. Isn't that interesting that they're different? So it's crucial that we keep the world an open place for open publishing and making it so that people, kids, adults, ourselves, can have access through many different ways and different lenses on the same information.
This is an interesting issue about what happens if there's only one search engine which is dominant. Will its truth be the only thing that everyone pays attention to? Well, one could say that same thing of newspapers and television programs and things like that, which become sort of a dominant influence on the thinking of the time. Everyone is free to build their own search engines, and in fact, there have been many in the history of the internet so far. Google is one point in time. There may be other Googles in the future.
Do other search engines stand a chance? Google's market share is now so huge it seems to have a monopoly. The company continues to develop new applications, and it's well on its way to bringing all the world's information under one roof. This may be convenient, but isn't such a monopoly dangerous?
This is Google Earth. This is an application that can basically allow you to browse the entire world from outer space down to your driveway. In this case, I'm going to the Grand Canyon, and you can see all the detail all the way down into the canyon here. Over time, we're trying to get the whole world covered as much as possible so that anybody can see their house. They can go from where they grew up to where they went to college to where they work and be able to see that data and be able to capture that long tail of people that exist in the world. Let's go over to Heathrow. And this particular area is also aerial photography. And you actually can read, there's Air France, Air Canada, there you go. So there's, it's pretty, some areas are that high detail, some are less so, and just varying different degrees of resolution.
Aren't you in the end afraid that political or security issues will kind of blow up the beauty of the thing?
I don't know if I'm necessarily, I'm not sure if fear is the right word. I think that I'm hoping that, I don't know if I have an opinion in terms of whether it's something that we should definitely address. I think that we should definitely make sure that people, just like privacy issues, security issues, make sure that those are, and we talk to the right people who are very well and sort of knowledgeable about those areas and work with them to come with the right solution. I'm definitely, I mean, it's like anything that's a big thing. There's always these things that you have to, it's never necessarily a straightforward path, the big things. So,
but basically what you're saying, first you have designed the technology and then you're going to see how to solve those things, instead of the other way around.
I think that it came from a love of what it was. I mean, we saw something that was amazing and we wanted to see it happen. And anything that you see that, I mean, any big technology, I think that changes the way the world thinks and the way people perceive the world will cause people to, to react in different ways. And this is one of those type of technologies, I think.
Well, I mean, I really view us as computer scientists. So we can analyze a problem and we can solve a problem, but we're not governmental officials. We're not policy makers on a global scale. We're simply responding to the needs of our users.
With all due respect, it sounds almost naive, considering the scale on which Google works.
I'm sorry, but that's my perspective.
I think Google's got to such a size now and it's used by so many people that it's going to have to step very carefully to avoid accusations of Big Brother behavior. However, in a couple of specific areas, I think it's already crossed that line. I think, for example, with freedom of expression, what they are doing in cooperating with the Chinese government in censoring the search results they give to Chinese users is very dangerous. What they are doing in terms of storing information about their users, about the kind of things that you're searching for in Google. If you're using other Google services like Google Mail or Google Calendar, then they potentially have even more information about you. And I think people are rightly very concerned about how they will make use of that information.
As an ignorant consumer, you're implicitly saying to me, trust me.
I sense that you're really trying to hammer this point through about trust me. Could I suggest to you that in the business you're in, the production of television programs, you're saying the same thing to the audience, trust me. You have every opportunity to manipulate this interview and any other, if you chose to do so, to bias it according to a particular philosophy that you have. And yet I'm sure you would tell me that your intent is not to do that, that you're trying to get all sides of the picture in place so that the viewer gets to decide what is true and what isn't true. It's true in all media that there is an implicit potential for that kind of bias.
I think it's really important for governments and consumers to make sure that we don't ever see a situation in which a single company like Google becomes a monopolist over the information out there on the internet in the world's libraries, because then you do get a Ministry of Truth style situation where you can control and with technology fine-tune in a way that was never before possible the reality that is presented to users. I like a phrase from a campaigner in the US called John Perry Barlow, where he said censorship is the editing of collective human consciousness. And I think that that explains it well. It would be very easy to deny information to people, to manipulate their views, try to manipulate their behavior, if you could control very carefully the information they had access to. We certainly already have seen the dangers of that in Europe with the mass media. That's why we have laws on media diversity. And I think we do need to be careful that we never end up in that situation on the internet.